Hi there, Bill Hitchcock. We have got a fantastic program for you. It's fantastic stuff to get out to you for this upcoming weekend. The fishing has gone ballistic this past week. We have heard about Cobia being caught. We've heard about blue marlin being caught. There is a Bluefish Blitz up and down the coast of North Carolina. And we're going to take you out to an uninhabited island, Coral Banks, and just show you how massive this Bluefish Blitz is. Enough of me. Let's jump on into it and let's get into the fishing report. The Outer Banks up in Wanchese Marina. The offshore is bringing in the limits of yellowfin with some blackfin, kings, and a few bluefins. How about that? Are still coming in. Inshore guys are bringing in drum catfish and stone sheepshead. I don't know what a stone sheepshead is. The catfish we'll talk about a little later on. We've heard up in the Chesapeake of them invading into the saltwater area eating clams. Let's see if we can find out more about that. Oregon Inlet, another beautiful day of fishing. Offshore boats are still saying yellowfin tuna, blackfin tuna, and mahi-mahi. Bonus, blue marlin made an appearance today too. So generally speaking, two things love 80-degree water temperatures. That is hurricanes and blue marlin. The 80-degree water temperatures happen in June. But the blue marlins are already showing up. I guess they didn't look at their little thermometer before they went on out. Look at this, Jeanette's Pier, bluefish. This is the big story. People, bluefish. No, I'm talking big bluefish, big blitz up and down the coast of North Carolina. So they got bluefish up there at Jeanette's Pier. Also, I love this, a seahorse. Jeanette's Pier, by the way, if you didn't know, is part of the North Carolina Aquarium System. It's a wonderful facility. I was there a few months back, and they took a school group out there, and look what somebody in the school group caught. A seahorse. How about that? Don't see that all the time. Now, Hatteras Jack. The southern beaches are still reporting red drum, bluefish, sea mullet, while the northern beaches are seeing bluefish, sea mullet, and spot. The sound side reports of red drum and bluefish. That's probably, just Sergeant Joe Friday fishing report. Just the facts, ma'am. Just bolting them out there. I love it at Hatteras Jack. Look at this. Brett Barley. It says blackfin tuna on the Fish Pro Trophy. Stoked to finally check tuna off the bucket list of fish caught from my Sea-Doo. He's got a wonderful little video with somebody, a young gentleman behind him on the Sea-Doo catching black drum. So Brett Barley, look him up on Facebook. Trade winds. Leah Herndon caught no fewer than 3 citation red drum while fishing the Sound. We keep hearing about drum being caught out of the surf, which they still are, but now back in the Sound. So evidently they're migrating on in. Remember, drum are an east-west fish here in North Carolina. They go sound to ocean, ocean to sound. Rarely do they migrate north or south of North Carolina. And we'll talk about that some more in the future. This is what I wanted to show you. Talking about the Bluefish Blitz. This comes from Angela Lee Warner. I saw this on Facebook. I got up on her. Well, let me just show you, roll this first video first. All that water boiling is bluefish. Sharks moved, they were hitting up on, this is what Angela said. She says, we went over on the ferry out of Davis and saw the intense fish action all the way to just before the lighthouse. Now I'm going to put up this map that she sent me. So Davis is up there at the top. They go over to Coral Banks, and she colored, that made those little marks at each place that they stopped off at, with the final mark down there by the lighthouse. It says a short distance before we cross over from the beach side to the Sound side to visit the lighthouse is where I took the video. I'll ask my son what they were feeding on, as I can't remember. I asked her, what are they feeding on, finger mullet? And she says, well, I believe so. She says, I found out this is called a Bluefish Blitz. So there was bait fish assumed to be mullet where it was in the wash. Bluefish are coming in. That's the whole boiling water. Sharks move in to feed on the bluefish, and also porpoises moved on in. And they got another little short video to show you that she took. Angela goes on to say, and dolphins were feeding too. A fisherman we saw in the same area caught a hammerhead. So the bluefish, as you're about to hear and see, everywhere. Big bluefish. We're talking about the Hatteras Blues, what's referred to as the Hatteras Blues. But before I move on into that, we got, believe it or not, from Virginia Beach sport fishing. Look at that. Cobia. Cape Lookout. That's all I know. Cape Lookout, probably inside the hook of the Cape there. That's where he caught the cobia. Remember the show we did with Joe Tunstall about fly fishing for bluefish? He was doing a seminar. Well, just take a look. His charter, Will Singinger, I believe is how you pronounce that name, says, waiting for the captain to attempt to get us within casting distance of the 30-plus pound red schooled up in the wash on a very sloppy shoal off Cape Lookout, my rod in hand, and this lure 2 feet above the water. Then this decent blue jumped completely out of the water, hooked himself, then dove under the bow for 10 seconds or so. I'm still amazed I held onto the rod. Then the sharks came and ate the bluefish. This is exactly what we just saw at Cape Lookout Shoals that Angela set in. On Core Banks. This is what Angela set in. These big bluefish have moved on in. They're feeding like crazy. I mean, this bluefish just jumped out of the water and got this man's lure when they're trying to fly fish for drum. It's all within 5 feet of the boat. All that was missing was David Attenborough narrating the play-by-play. An incredible display of wild marine life today. Again, Will Sinkinger probably, was out fishing with Joe Tunstall. Joe Tunstall, we did an interview with him. Go take a look at that. It's here in the archives. Now, Bill Collector, Tuna Dolphin Wahoo. Bill Collector's out of the Morehead City waterfront. Tuna Dolphin Wahoo, Tuna Dolphin Wahoo, Tuna Dolphin Wahoo. And by the way, that's going to become the report for the next 3 or 4 or 5 months. It starts to sound, for the offshore boats, it starts to sound boring, but and then you'll get a Marlin, Marlin, blue Marlin, but Tuna Dolphin Wahoo is going to be the catches for the offshore boats. Now, chasing tails, well, they didn't get outdone either by the blues. They report the chopper blue starting to make a showing. Nate with a 10-pounder he caught this morning off the surf with a finger mullet. By the way, and we did a show on this last September when the finger mullet come on in to the beach after the mullet blow, that bluefish show up and are eating them. Bluefish tend to be butt biters. So if you'll find you'll get your finger mullet with just his tail gone. So know that when you're fishing to rig it, so you got a hook in the back, because you can fish all day long and just bring back finger mullet heads if that's what you're fishing with, because bluefish tend to be butt biters. Chasing Tails also reports big redfish, huge albies, chopper bluefish, schooling bonito, lots of sea mullets. Today's action was nonstop. Chasing Tails out of Atlantic Beach. I keep talking about it, across the high-rise bridge of the second business on the right. Stop by, say thank you for the fishing reports, and let me go buy something. All of these businesses, if you can, thank them for the reports, thank them for the pictures and what have you, but please buy something from them. They need to stay in business. Now, I got this sent in to me by Michael Jorner. It's a Bogue Inlet Pier. He says, today's Spanish mackerel being caught off the Bogue Inlet Pier. Most folks are catching a limit of fish. I saw one bonita caught as well. Now, Spanish mackerel. This is where we start hearing about the Spanish catches. We heard about this last week. This is where the Spanish and the bonito, there I go again, activity has been hot and heavy. Emerald Isle charters casting jigs all morning, and the bonito bite was on fire. The new Clark Spoon diamond jig was the go-to jig. They were crushing it. The ocean was alive today with school after school of migrating bait there, and that's why the bluefish are there. And that's why the sharks are there. And that's why the porpoises are there. That's why the bonito are there. Going back out to Mark, Captain Roy Heverly gives that report. Now, the southern region. This is what I've been excited to get out to you. Catching Spanish, blues, mullet, and a few croakers. Surf City Ocean Pier. Again, the Emerald Isle area going down south is where we're hearing about all the Spanish mackerel activity. But speaking of mackerel, bam, there's a big mamma jamma right there. The Johnny Mercer's Pier. Dominic Chirello, he's to the right, decks the first king mackerel on the Johnny Mercer's Pier in 2025, and it was a monster, weighing in at 54.7 pounds. Congratulations, Dominic, and thank you to Rick Dove and Jeff Hunley with assisting on the gaff, bluefish and Spanish mackerel. Well, you know, that crowd down there in the Riceville Topsail area with their piers here, they had that big old king mackerel. Do you think that the Seaview Pier is going to be outdone with big? No. Take a look at this.
There it is. Oh my God. Holy crap. Oh, how cool is that?
What is it, humpback?
There's a whale right here.
Seaview Pier, whale. We've had more whale sightings this year than I recall in many. They're there almost every single. Well, they're there every year. But in terms of sightings, I've not seen. I can't recall a year when we've had some. It's kind of like the bluefin tuna. It was a just absolutely fantastic year. Jolly Roger Pier limits the Spanish mackerel. Will caught yesterday good numbers of blues and some Virginia mullet, and Oak Island fishing charters. King mackerel. So the king mackerel and Spanish mackerel activity in the southern region, the bonita activity up there towards the middle region in the Bogue Banks area, the bluefish activity is just ballistic, particularly from Cape Lookout going up on north. And when the boats have a chance to get on out, the tuna dolphin wahoo, tuna dolphin wahoo, tuna dolphin wahoo. That's your offshore report. Where? Yes. Temperatures. This is for Saturday. Saturday temperatures. You can see the high temperatures out at Hatteras at 74, down at Southport, Cape Fear area 71. But on Sunday, we're going to take a little trip down the temperature scale. You can see temperatures along the coast are going to drop about 10 degrees, forecasted to drop about 10 degrees this coming Sunday. Now let's move on forward to what we're going to look at, rain. Now this is what I want you to look at this rain. You will see out there down in the Southport, Cape Fear area, around a 40% chance. The Bogue Banks area around 43% chance. Hatteras 55, up north off of Elizabeth City 64%. That's over a 12-hour period, by the way. So that percent chance of rain that you're seeing here along the coast of North Carolina, that's over a 12-hour period. And also look real close on the map. Do you notice that a lot of those points are offshore? That is the prediction for that point offshore. That's not a mistake like they missed the city. The National Weather Service is showing that offshore. Now that's on Saturday. And what's it going to look like on Sunday? Sunday, guess what? Your percent chance of rain is almost nothing. Now remember, we're going from the 70s on Saturday down to the 60s, drop 10 degrees on Sunday. Now on Saturday, you've got your 40, 50, 60% chance of rain. On Sunday, you've got almost no chance of rain. Now here's why. A cold front is going on through and the wind is going to shift. On Saturday, you can see the wind is coming out of the south. Do you see those hockey sticks? They're called weather barbs or barbs, wind barbs. They look like hockey sticks. If you look on land, it's a lot more clear. The hockey part, not the stick part, shows the direction of the wind. So you can see the wind on Saturday is going to be coming out of the south. Look offshore there in between Cape Lookout and Cape Hatteras. You can see it's going to be windiest right offshore. So if you're planning a trip, it looks like the cutoff line is around the Big Rock. Going Big Rock north is where it's going to be the windiest. Let's pull up this last forecasting chart. This is for Sunday. You can see that the wind somewhat subsides, but it changes direction. It's coming out of the north. So it's going to be warm, wet, southerly wind on Saturday. It's going to be 10 degrees cooler and windier, but drier on Sunday. So if that helps out with any determination of what you want to do. And do I have the sea surface temperatures pulled up? I do not. This is what I want to talk about. I will pull it up full screen. Look in Pamlico Sound. You'll see that it's like 70 degrees now. The water temperatures have warmed up tremendously in Pamlico Sound. Now, all of that dark blue and white that you're seeing is cloud cover. So don't misinterpret what you're seeing there. That is not sea surface temperatures. That is cloud surface temperatures. And again, we're dealing with surface temperatures. It will the wind and the weather and the cold and the heat has a great impact on this. If you look down in the Cape Fear region, you'll see the little blue off along the coastline. A northerly wind blowing the cool air off the land, and it's cooled down the sea surface temperatures. Look at Pamlico Sound again. You'll see it's very, very warm. warm, so the wind's blowing off of the Pamlico Sound. You can see off of Ocracoke and Hatteras Island and Coral Banks and all that's affected the sea surface temperatures there as well. Don't panic. Wind changes. These sea surface temperatures will change radically as well. That was a mouthful. Lots going on. Bluefish Blitz, Cobia have showed up. Marlin have showed up. The offshore fishing has fallen into its pattern. King mackerel, large king mackerel as well, are starting to show up in the southern region, as well as the Spanish mackerel. And as the water temperatures continue to warm on up, you're going to see those and hear those Spanish mackerel catches all up and down the coast of North Carolina. That's been a big mouthful. I'm done. I'm Bill Hitchcock. By the way, if you have any pictures or video, please, like Michael Joyner sent to me the Bogue Inlet Pier with all the Spanish, send it to me. You can email me at billhitchcock@mail.com, billhitchcock@mail.com, not Gmail, it's mail.com, or you can get up with me here on YouTube. Love to post your pictures and videos of your fish catches. Love to see what's going on, show your lures, your baits. I'm not interested in your secret fishing spot. We've talked about that before, but anything that you can send in would be greatly appreciated. Until next time, I'm Bill Hitchcock. See ya.
Post your questions, comments, and concerns here on YouTube, or email them directly to Bill Hitchcock at this address.